everybody, it's Teresa. Welcome to my channel. I've got a lot of stuff out here. I'm not going to use all this stuff. I might use some of all of it, but I'm not going to use all of it. And don't worry, I'm not going to paint my nails, I promise. I do own nail polish. I just don't use it for my nails. A lot of these beads are beads from I think it was the January bargain bead box. It was the Midnight Skies was what it was called. It was the box that had the labradorite in it. So I did get back out and started playing with it today, since I've already used all the beads out of the latest box, all the biggest beads anyway. And I'm going to make a knotted necklace today, which is why I have this cord out here. These were the 6mm English cut crystal beads in steel blue that were in the box. These were the little star spacer beads that were in the box. These were the little 4mm faceted labradorite beads. And these were the large labradorite chips that were in the box. And these were the 6mm check pressed glass star beads, crystal steel blue shimmer that were in the box. The rest of these beads are from my stash. They're just different shades of blue. I wanted to kind of bring out the blue that you can see in the labradorite when when it turns at certain angles, you can see blue flashes in it. These beads, I don't really know what this shape is. They're like this. And then these they didn't say, I had these labeled and they said they were check glass. They didn't say they were fire polished though, but they're just a round light blue bead. These are some little light blue, I think these are 4mm fire polish beads. This is Ceylon. Ceylon is the same thing as Eslon. I think it's just made by a different company, so they call it a different name. And this is in fine weight. I needed something fine to go through these beads, and I did not want to use this darker blue, but it was the only color blue I had. I could have tried to use gray, but I didn't have gray. The only thing I have in this thin a thread are all colors, and this was the only thing that would even remotely go with this, so that's what I'm going to use. And because I'm having to use that dark blue, I decided to bring in some dark blue little 3mm fire polish beads that I had in my stash. Add in there. I'm going to use the nail polish to put on the end of the cord to kind of stiffen it up a little to help get it through the beads. I've got my GS Hypo Cement I'm going to put on my knots that I use at the end. Not all my knots, of course, but the knots I'm going to use at the end. And somewhere here I've got one of these collapsible eye needles like this that I'm going to use. I probably have to use to get some of this like through these little 4mm gemstone beads. I'm sure I'll have to use the needle to get the cord through it, and probably through some of these fire polish beads. I'm not sure. I've got some findings here. I've got a lobster clasp, some jump rings, some of the chain that came in that box, a little piece of chain here I'm going to use for an extender. I've got a ball head pin in here so I can make a link to dangle something off the extender, but I don't know which one of these beads I'm going to use to dangle because I got a lot to choose from here. And then I've got a couple of the little 15.5 by 20mm round with moon and star links that I'm going to use. And I've got a couple little clamshell tips there. I think that's everything that's in there. I've got my scissors to cut my cord. I've got my beading awl that I'll probably have to use to guide some knots. I've got my chain nose pliers and my bent chain nose pliers. I got the bent chain nose pliers from BB Craft many years ago, and I'm just going to use these to put my findings on at the end of when I get ready to put my findings on. And of course I'll need my cutters. These are Zeron, and my round nose pliers. I got these from BB Craft many years ago when I do my dangle. And I'll need my other pair of bent chain nose pliers when I do my dangle. I'll use my crimping pliers to tuck in the end of my wire when I cut it off. and I'll probably have to use my tweezers some. Maybe I might need to use them to get some cord through. Sometimes to grab a hold of the cord. I'm not sure. I might not need them at all, but I've got them here in case. I think that's everything. So I'm going to get some of this poured out, and then I'll be back. Okay, all I need for this first part is my cord and my clamshell tip and my GS Hypo cement, and of course my scissors. I've got 3 pieces of cord here, and I've cut them about 45 inches each. I'm not going to use that much, but I always like to have plenty, and I don't know how much room the knots are going to take up and all, but I know I'm not going to need that much. And I just went ahead and fed them through the back of my clamshell tip here. I would have done it on camera, but the shakes are just a little bit worse today than normal, and I didn't want y'all to have to wait while I struggled. I mean, there's plenty of room. They went through there fine. It's just it took me a little while because of the shaking. It's a little bit better, or a little bit worse today. So I've already got that done. So I'm just going to tie all my cords into an overhead knot. And then I'm just going to pull my clamshell up here. Well, first I'm going to put some GS Hypo cement on my knot here. I don't think it needs it. I don't think the knot's going to come out, but I always put some on there just to be extra secure. Now I'm going to see if I can get this lid back on here. Okay. Now I'm just gonna cut the extra cords off. And pull it down here and close my little clamshell tip. And now on this side I'm going to make an overhead knot with all my cords. Take my beading awl here and guide it down a little because I want to get it down. Well, it came out. Try that again. I don't want it to be far away from my clamshell, but I don't want it to be too close up against it either. That'll be okay. Okay, so that's what I got. So now I'm going to get my beads poured out here, and I'll be back. Okay, so I've got a few of all of my beads poured out here, and I've probably got too many. I probably shouldn't have pulled out this many beads because sometimes the more beads you have to choose from, the harder it is to choose, you know. But I'm going to I've already put some fingernail polish on the end of my cords, and that just kind of stiffens up the ends a little bit, makes it a little bit easier for you to get the cords through your beads. And I'm just gonna randomly string on some of these beads. I'm gonna do one of these dark blue fire polish beads, and I'm gonna do it on each of my strands here, not the same beads. I think I'll see if I can get one of these little 4mm labradorite beads on here without having to use my needle. Okay. And I think I'll put one of these little star beads on here. Just randomly. Got a bead on each cord there now. Now I think I'll put one of these blue English cut beads on one of them. Doesn't matter which one. And probably put one of my chip beads on one of them. And put one of these big, whatever these are, beads on one of them. And maybe put one of these bigger fire polish, or well, I don't know if they're fire polish, but there's something beads on here. I'm going to pull this down here and see what this looks like. I'm going to pull it all down here to the clamshell tip. Just make a little cluster of beads there. I think the one with the gemstone chips, lonely. He needs some more beads on him. So I think I'll put see if I can get one of these stars on here. I don't know if these will go on here without my needle or not. They've got awfully little holes. I might have to have my needle to put this on here, and I don't want y'all to have to wait while I thread my needle and all, so I'll worry about that. I'll put another one of these little dark blue fire polish beads on here. Sometimes if you angle cut it, it helps a little bit to get it through there. It's another reason why I cut off extra cord, so for all the times I'll have to cut it. There we go. Now I need something else to go on there with him. I'll just do another one of these. Pull this down here and see what we got. Okay, got a little cluster of beads here, and they're all moving. I kind of want them all to move. I don't want them to be tight. So now I'm just going to tie an overhand knot with all my cords. I want to keep them all taut because I don't want there to be a lot of, cord hanging down out of one of them. But I'm not going to tie this knot close at all. Just going to bring it down a little bit. Maybe tie it about there. So that's what I got for my first little cluster. Now I'm going to make another little cluster of totally random beads. Just ever how I want to put them on here. Get all three of my little cords up here so I can see what I'm putting on each one. I'm just going to try to vary up the beads and not put the same beads on each cord and not have the same beads right next to each other and all that. One of these on here, and see if I can get one of these little labradorite tiny little 4mm beads on here. If I can find the hole. I can't even see the hole in that one. Let me try another one. I am probably going to have to use my needle for most of these, and I don't want y'all to have to wait while I use my needle, so I'm just going to put one of these star beads on here. And then I think I'll put one of these beads and one of these lighter colored fire polish beads. And then on this side, I'd really kind of like to get one of these on there. I just don't want y'all to have to wait while I thread it on my needle. Maybe if I can find my needle, what I do with it. Oh, here it is. Maybe it won't take me too long. No, that wasn't too bad. Now, what have I got over here now? I'll put one of these on here. And one of these little dark blue fire polish beads. And see, when you have a lot to choose from, it kind of makes the job harder. Put one of these on here. Now let's find my strand that don't have anything on it. Let's see, I'll put, oh, I need a gemstone chip. I've not put one of them on there yet. And one of these, I don't think I've put one of them on there yet. And I'll just go crazy and put another gemstone chip on here. And maybe one of these. And now grab all the ends. I would leave that needle on there, but I'm afraid when I tie my knot I'll lose it. Now I'm just going to bring all these down here and see what this looks like. I think I put more on there than I meant to. Maybe it just looks like that. Yeah, they've all just got about 4 on them. Okay, so I'm going to pull this taut and tie another overhand knot with all my cords. Tie my knot not tight because I want my beads to move. So that's what I've got so far. So I'm just going to do this, just randomly putting on beads and making knots between them until I get the length I want. This is a really good way to use up bead soup. If you have some bead soup that you want to play around with, you could just find some that have matching, beads that go together well, and just do something like this. And it works up pretty quick. It's a whole lot quicker than, trying to wire wrap them and stuff, which I do a lot with my bead soup, but this is just a different way to use up bead soup. So I'm just going to keep going and see what I end up with, and then I'll be back. Okay, so this is what I've got. And I have a lot of beads to put back up because this didn't take very many beads at all. This is 14.5 inches. And then I'm going to put a little bit of chain on it and my connectors and stuff. I have, of course, way more cord than I needed. And I have all these beads left to put up. I didn't even use I used so few of the beads that I had pulled out for this. So this is just a really good way if you want to use up your bead soup, because it doesn't take very many beads at all to do this. The cord takes up a whole lot of it. So I'm going to move some of my beads out of the way. I just wanted to show you all that, and I'll be back and we'll put it together. Okay, now I've got my cords fed through my other clamshell connector. I didn't want y'all to have to wait while I fumbled with getting them through there. So now I'm just going to tie an overhand knot with all my cords. And I'm going to get my beading awl here, and I'm going to guide my knot, try to get it right down there inside that clamshell tip. Try not to lose my beading awl out of my knot. I'm the world's worst about that. Get down here right where I want it to be almost, and then my beading awl will come sliding out. I'm going to try to get it right down in there in that clamshell so that I can hide it. Okay, I think that's about as good as I'm going to get it. Now I'm going to tighten it. It's down in there pretty good. And I'm going to take my GS Hypo cement, put it on my knot. Okay, now I'm going to cut off my cord. Probably not enough cord left here to make a whole nother necklace. Now I'm going to close up my clamshell tip. So that's what I've got so far. Now I'm going to make the little dangle to go on my connector. I've decided to use one of these little stars. These little check press glass stars that were in the box. Guess I need to zoom in. I'm going to put this on my head pin here, and I'm going to take my pliers and go to the very tip of the pliers. Bend at a 90-degree angle. Take my round nose pliers, put them in the crook of the bend. Round nose pliers facing me. Bend the wire back until it hits the bead. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Hold on tight and pull this part up and under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock it back until the loop is centered over the bead. Take my bent chain nose pliers, my other bent chain nose pliers, start my wraps, Just wrap until there's no more room to wrap. Take my cutters, cut off my extra wire, and deposit it in my little New Orleans shot glass that I think I forgot to introduce at the first of the video, and he'll be mad at me. Now I'm going to take my new pair of crimping pliers that I absolutely love and go in the little circular part there and tuck in my wires, my burr that's left from where I cut off my wire. And I'm going to take my extender chain here, open up one of the links on the end, thread on my little dangle, I got that ready now. Now I'm going to take my two little links here and a 6mm jump ring. Open my jump ring. Thread it onto my little clamshell tip and thread on my link. Close it up. Make sure to get it closed up well. I'm going to take another 6mm jump ring. Thread on my other side of my necklace and my other connector. Now I'm going to take another 6mm jump ring. And I've got some of the pieces of chain that came in the box. These are just about 2.5 inches each. I'm going to put that on there. Put my chain on. Do the same thing on the other side. And now I'm going to take another 6mm jump ring. Put on my chain. Put on my lobster clasp. And this is an 8mm jump ring. I'll put it on this side. With my extender chain. And that's about a 2-inch piece of extender chain. So let's see. There we go. Got a finished knotted necklace that took very few beads. Hold on, let me get some of this out of the way and I'll be back. Okay, there we go. A little knotted necklace made with just some random beads. It doesn't take very many beads at all. Like I said, if you have some bead soup that you're wanting to play with and use up, and you could find some colors that go together well and make something like this, and some cord. It doesn't take a whole lot of cord. I had way more than I needed cut off. Or if you have some extra beads from your bargain bead box that you want to use and you don't know what to do with, this is a good way to use those up too. And I realized after I got this all done and was laying this out that I forgot to say my little speech about the bargain bead box. I guess I thought since this was an older box I didn't need to say that, but I guess I do. That bargain bead box is a monthly subscription of beads and findings. It's $19.49 a month, and that includes shipping in the United States. They have beautiful beads and findings. It's always curated around a different theme each month. And if you're a subscriber to the bargain bead box, you get a 30% off coupon to use in their sister store, Beadbox Bargains. And they already have great prices. And by the way, I used mine today, so I'll have an order coming up. I just meant to go over there and get some findings, but of course, I had to look at the beads while I was there, and they were running a special where if you spent $50, you got free shipping, and I was up to $40-something, so what are you going to do? I just had to go on to $50 to get the free shipping, and it's just ridiculous. I can't help myself. I'm just addicted. I'm addicted to beads. I have a coupon code. It's Teresa2, and I'll put it on the screen here and in the description box below, along with a link to the page to sign up for the subscription if you're interested. The coupon code will save you $2 off your first box if you sign up. I've been buying beads and findings for many years now, and I really do believe this is a good value. You can get a lot of pieces out of one box. As always, thank you all so much for joining me today. I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed to my channel and watched my videos and liked and commented on my videos. I have a website where I sell my jewelry. It's Teresa's Handmade Jewelry, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below in case you're interested, along with a link to my Facebook and Instagram and my email. If you haven't, I'd really love it if you'd subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. So until next time, hope you all have a great day. Take care.